Okay, hello everybody. We're back with tip number 2 for debate class. So tip number 1, we discussed posture and gesturing and how to develop your own style. And now we're going to be focusing on developing confidence. So developing confidence is a huge problem for a lot of people. So a lot of people just naturally do not have a lot of confidence. And some people have a lot of confidence, but they are unable to use it effectively when they are giving a presentation or a speech in front of a lot of people. And one thing we're not going to touch on is overconfidence. Overconfidence can also be a problem. However, it's better to be overconfident than to not. So I'm not going to say don't be overconfident, but you should know that if you are too overconfident, you can assume that you are better than you are, and this can be detrimental. So with overconfidence, be very careful, but it is the better option of the two. So looking at confidence, we're going to look at some reasons why people have issues with that. Number 1 is nervousness. So nervousness is the biggest reason why people are not confident. People lose the ability to speak loudly, aggressively, or confidently because they're nervous. Now, being nervous is a natural thing. Being nervous is something that we all feel. However, you also need to understand that nervousness is oftentimes an initial reaction. So this is something that you're going to feel for the first couple seconds, and then as soon as you start getting into what you're doing, you're going to forget about it, because that job that you have to do in the debate takes the place of that nervousness. You get on, the train starts sort of rolling and you get onto it. Now, so a good analogy is jumping into a lake. So if you've ever jumped into a lake before, if you're not, maybe you like jumping into a lake, that would be like a person who is overconfident or has a lot of confidence. But if you're a person like me who doesn't like deep water and you're standing in a boat and you've jumped in the lake before, but you're feeling nervous and you don't like it, and then you finally jump in the lake and you get in and you swim up and everything is fine, right? This is a lot like speaking in a debate. So you're going to get up to the lectern, everybody is going to be looking at you, your teammates are going to be, sort of cheering you on, and they have expectations of you. Your opponents are going to be looking at you like they want to destroy you, and you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to do this? I'm so nervous. And then that's the point where you need to just sort of shut that off, go into your speech, and forget about everything, because after 2 or 3 seconds and after you start speaking, the nervousness is going to dissipate. The nervousness is going to be gone, and you guys are going to be, you're going to be moving well. So just remember that nervousness is a very transient thing, and it's only the initial time when you're going to be nervous. Just get going and you'll be fine. The second way to develop confidence or to be confident is to believe your argument. Believe what you are saying. Doesn't matter if you think it's true or not, right? In the debate competition, you are going to be given arguments that you either have to argue for or against, and you're not going to believe every one. You're going to look at it and say, oh, I don't think that's true. Man, I don't want to argue that. And then some people, they don't argue very well because they don't believe it. Well, you have to believe it. You don't have a choice. You must take that side as if you believe it 110%. So even if you don't think something is true, get on it, believe it, make it real, make it true. And then when the competition is done, you can say, ooh, I didn't believe that, but I made sure, I pretended. So you're basically going to be a good actor for about 30 minutes. So do that. Your side is the right side every single time. Okay, now for the third one, I want you to think of talking before you speak. So a lot of people have issues with confidence because they think too much. Now you might think thinking is a good thing, and thinking is a good thing, but if you're thinking too much when you're supposed to be speaking, you are going to lack information, you're going to fall on your words, and you're going to forget things that you really wanted to say. So one thing you can do here is talk before you think, to an extent. Please don't just ramble on and say things because you want to talk, because you want to make noises from your mouth. Don't do that. You need to be a little bit eloquent. You need to know what you're saying. You need to have good points. However, you don't need to speak perfectly. Everybody who speaks in a debate or in some kind of conference or in anything, they're going to make mistakes. Especially, they're going to make grammar mistakes. Why? Because they're talking before they're thinking. So maybe they'll use be verb at the beginning of a sentence, and then it doesn't agree with what they're saying at the end, which happens a lot in speaking. Don't worry about it, right? You might mistakenly say a different word from the one that you wanted to, and then and then you want to backtrack. You can do it in a subtle way, but do not stop, and do not try to think about how you can rectify something you've already done if it's going to take too long. So talk before you speak. Talk, keep going. Let the thoughts come as you're speaking, but don't get stuck thinking about something and trying to process it all in your brain and put it all together, especially grammar and sentence structure, and then throw it out there and then repeat. Don't do that. Let it out. You're at the point now where you can speak well, you can make good sentences. So trust yourself, trust your speaking, trust your structure, and just go. Talk before you think. So that's what we're going to do to develop confidence. Another thing that was with this, but I put it in the first one, was the looking at the forehead thing. That can also help you develop confidence. And if you follow the first tip, the posture tip, even standing more erect and having a better posture and not slouching and not hiding behind the lectern, this can also develop confidence. So if you put 1 and 2 in tandem, you'll be off to the races. You'll be doing great. So if you have any questions, you can come see me and ask me personally. And we'll be doing tip 3 next, which will be on how you can be specific in your argument.